badly.
Did it get to the point where you just wanted to end? You just wanted to hear, all right, we can go home?
No, I mean, everyone was kind of still hyped for the game and wanted to go out there, and we just wanted to beat them as bad as we could. It was Marshall, but, you know, they made a decision. We went with it. So we're happy we got the victory.
Does it almost seem weird for a game like this that means so much for the state that ends like this?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we couldn't do anything about it, but we fought for.
It's good to see where we started right now. So from where we started, we can get that much better.
You know you got to get better, but I mean, you hold them to 2 field goals, really. I mean, the special teams touchdown's not on you guys. You got to be pretty satisfied at the end of this, right?
Yeah, we're satisfied. You know, just to come out and see the way guys ran to the ball like Will Clark, and you know, Casey, you know, starting, and then Doug Riggs starting as a sophomore. I know he said he put something on Facebook or Twitter talking about it's my first start. He's kind of nervous, but you know, all that nervousness turned into anxiety, and you know, guys got it done.
That many young guys contributing, did you expect it to go as well as it did today?
Well, yeah, I expected them to play hard, and they played hard, and they did everything pretty much for the most part right. And I mean, when you put those two together, it's pretty hard to stop any defense in the country, and that's what we did. So.
Got some stops, but you didn't force any turnovers.
Yeah, that's the one thing we did talk about, because you know, you force turnovers, that take away, you know, a lot of the team's energy, and that's what we was trying to focus on towards the end of the game. Actually, in the beginning of the game, but you know, we wanted the guys to do things right first, and pretty much that's. I know Coach is still gonna be drilling on them. We got to get turnovers. Great defenses get turnovers, so that's what we got to work on.
How crucial was that for you guys to knuckle down in the red zone? Because even the couple times that they did put together longer drives, you held them to 3 points.
Yeah, they. That's one thing that we did do. You know, we didn't know. That's like a big question we had, because we did a practice situation. You know, offense scored us in practice a few times, and when we got in the red zone, you know, we knew kind of what they was running. And we just had to, you know, buckle down. And last year we had that same defense, you know, bend don't break. And I mean, this year, I mean, if we would have forced a turnover in the red zone, that'd have been great. But we stopped them, we held them. And guys were still tired, but they was able to make plays.
You see a lot of quarterbacks. What did you think of Cato, the true freshman out there in his first game?
Yeah, I know the true freshman. I could just imagine playing quarterback, but he was a lot more athletic than I thought he was. You know, they ran the ball with him, and we was expecting it, but we wasn't expecting him to run the ball the way he did. And as far as his arm, you know, I know he's going to continue to get better. But as of right now, you know, I think he's a good quarterback, and they got something working on him right now.
Yeah. Wanted that, and you know, but you know, I think we worked really hard and prided ourselves on our offense.
They hardly blitzed on the third down. Makes sense, I guess. It was blitz much because you spread it out a lot. You also ran a little bit too. It's like that you were able to get away from some stuff. Or do you even have an idea?
I mean, as of right now, you know, after the first game, you know, we have no idea. You know, we have a relative kind of, you know, in perspective of what we think teams are going to do, but you never know. You know, you got to be prepared for anything, because you can go out there and, you know, see, you know, something you may have never seen before. So, like I said, you know, we rep it so much that, you know, we understand what to do in certain situations, and we try and stay on the same page and get things done.
What did you do yourself to try to get through that first hour, 3 hour and 3 minute delay, whatever it was? I mean, Coach Holgerson talked about some of what you guys did, playing some games and stuff. What did you do yourself? Went study film or something?
I demolished my teammates in video games, NCAA. I think I beat Sean, Mike, and Paul within like an hour span. You know, I take pride in that.
Would this running game get better?
I think so. I believe so, and I truly believe it will. You know, just with time. You know, we have some young backs, and it was their first games. I'm pretty sure they were nervous, but I think overall they did a good job. You know, they didn't turn it over or, you know, put the ball on the ground, and you know, they were running hard. And you know, once they gain experience and, you know, just get the feel for the game, I think it'll get better along with our offensive line.
Maybe get more passing plays and running plays. You like that as a quarterback, right?
I mean,
we don't know
it's kind of odd, but I mean, you know, you never know. I mean, you know, you take what the defense gives you, and that's, you know, kind of cliche, but you know, I mean, it's just the way it is in the game. I mean, if you go out there and you try and force your will and, you know, do things, you know, out of your character, then, you know, you're gonna lose the game. But I think, you know, overall we did a good job at making adjustments and, you know, taking what they gave us.
Are you yourself in the games? In the video game?
No, I won't do that. You know, I don't want to get hurt.
Thanks, man.
You know, with all the weather delays that went on this weekend in college football, did you ever think that that's not going to happen?
I kind of had an idea, but I was hoping for the best, expecting the worst, and I guess we got the worst. So it's been pretty prevalent in college football, over the weekend, and I mean it came down to us not even playing the fourth quarter, so hopefully that never happens again.
What are you guys going to work on for your next game?
I mean, we'll break down the film tomorrow morning and try and figure out what we need to get better at. But overall, I just think we need to just work on everything. We're not nearly where we want to be or as good as we think we can be. So we just have to keep pushing.
It sounds like you guys had some fun during that break, but does it get to a point after 3 or 4 hours where you're like, all right, let's end this thing already?
3 or 4 hours, I think we were still having fun, but after like 6 or 7, we were ready to go. Everyone was tired and restless, so overall, I think we handled the situation well. But I think it's just crazy how it turned out tonight.
Your first chance to get out there in live action and execute this offense. How much fun was it?
It was fun. It was stressful at times, because we were down back in some situations that we shouldn't have been. But it's always fun to go out there and play the game. No matter what offense you're running or who you're playing against, because you never get many opportunities to do this.
I feel like you reached that pace that you guys want to play at certain
Not
points.
at all. I think Coach Hogerson is not pleased with the tempo and the speed we've been playing at where we played at, and I think that has to get better, and it definitely has to get better in order for us to move the ball.
Was there anything different for you tonight? You looked a little different maybe than last year in the respect that, every time that Marshall did get pressure, and there were times they had a glove on your shoulder pad or an arm around your ankle, you found a way to get the ball out of there, even if it wasn't a completion, to make sure you didn't take a sack.
Yeah, that's what our coaches, really just drill into our heads as quarterbacks. Never take sacks, because you can't tell. The offensive line is going to get beat. Running backs are blocking linebackers. They're going to get beat. Different things may happen in the game, but it's our job to get it out of our hands and make sure we're able to live and see the next play.